I discovered that my daughter was using drugs to try to feel good about herself or try to feel good. And I've read what you have said about addictions. I have the addiction tape. And it seems as though once I discovered her addiction, we went our separate ways because we're, if I can say it this way, we're trying to feel good in different ways. And she was doing things, of course, that go along with drug use that I could not tolerate in my house. The question I have is twofold. Understanding that you're not here to be a fortune teller, I am going to ask you if there's anything you can tell me about my daughter specifically. And then I would like to ask what I can do as a father that might help this situation. In the perfect way that our bodies are made, in the perfect ways that our brains are constructed, I think all of us that are parents have something that's very primitive inside us that drives us to protect our children.
Well, when you ask what is the most valuable thing that you might do, we think you've done that. There is such power in the statement that you made about go our separate ways. Because in going your separate ways physically, you put yourself in a stronger position of holding her in your mind's eye as you want her to be. If you are not separate and she is expressing her freedom and you are watching her, then you are traumatized. And if she is feeling not free and conforming to what you want, even though she is choosing something different, then she is out of balance. But by physically going your separate ways, then both of you are in a position that you can align with source energy more easily. And what we've noticed, you see, there's no one on the planet that has the potential of being a more powerful influencer for the well-being of someone than a parent, because there's no one on the planet who would be willing to give as much attention. But most parents, because they don't go their separate ways, hold themselves in a place where they constantly are dramatically seeing the thing that takes them out of connection, so that then they hold their child as their object of attention while they're not connected to source energy, and then while they would give everything that they have to give, they have nothing to give. It's only when you are connected to source energy that you have anything to give anyone. And so by going your separate ways, you have the opportunity now to see her as you know she is, to see her well and strong and clear and connected. We believe, as you said in your opening words to us, that the drugs that she chose were because she was trying to achieve, although an unnatural way of going about it, a releasing of the resistance that was holding her from her place of connection. And many people, we say this openly, many people find their first conscious connection with source energy through the utilization of a drug. Esther has never used a drug, and she found her connection with source energy through meditation. And of course, that's what we are offering. But there are many people who want almost desperately to reach connection, who in the struggle of their life don't. And then there are many, often youngsters, who haven't even begun to ask those questions yet. Their life experience has not put them in the place that they're really asking, but they are introduced to a drug that sort of takes them there anyway. And once any of you get a taste of no resistance and that euphoric feeling of connection to source energy, it is something that is sought after. And so what we would begin to do is we would begin to, in our mind's eye, imagine her connecting with that feeling without the drug. Become her friend and even proponent of connecting with source energy, and for a little while don't nitpick over the path that she has chosen to get there. In other words, relate with her desire to connect with source energy. You know, there are many religious circles that utilized drugs in order to achieve their connection before the drugs were seen as inappropriate. It is something that is becoming a bigger and bigger part of your society, and it is something that is becoming, at least for now, more and more out of balance. It is something where more not only those who are participating in the drug, but those like you who are a family, who are watching, are asking in stronger proportion than ever before. In other words, there is a tremendous amount of energy swirling through this subject of drugs. And we would like to, together, get it into a clearer place, because even if no one ever hears these recordings, even if it is only something that is understood and concluded and talked about and projected from this one small gathering, world events can be affected with far less than what is about to happen here. So let's see if we can't do some soothing to the whole subject of drugs here. The most significant thing that society does not yet understand about this drug revolution, that is important for them to understand before any real progress will begin to take place, is, for the most part, people who are participating in the drug are reaching for something that everyone wants. They are reaching for connection. They're reaching for something that they believe will make them feel better. They're reaching for an alignment of some sort, even though they don't always get it. We believe that that is the dominant motivation that is behind that. The question that we would like to pose so that many might ponder it is, what happens in your individual life that then makes you reach for soothing? The contrast that people are living is beating them up pretty good in some cases. People don't usually come to the place of reaching for soothing in the dramatic way that drugs offer without feeling an inadequacy where they currently stand about being able to achieve that. In other words, it is an effort to get into balance. Now, often it gets them further from balance than it does get them into balance, but the motive or the reason behind it is a very pure motive. And if people who are looking on could look at their loved ones and appreciate the perfection of their reason for reaching for it rather than getting into the condemning mode right away. And what we mean by this is, often it is the feeling of condemnation that has caused them to go there to begin with. When you think about it, your society is not, for the most part, an encouraging, uplifting society. Your society does not bathe you in appreciation. It compares you and, for the most part, criticizes you. In other words, your children are not loved into their chosen professions. They are harassed into their chosen professions. Almost no one reaches for the thought that feels best or the occupation that feels best. Most everybody is doing what somebody else has told them that they should do. Now, what we mean by this is most people are not using the guidance system that they were born with in order to guide their lives. And it's an interesting thing because, believe it or not, this attempt at reaching for drugs is an attempt at reaching for the connection that their life experience has sort of taken them apart from. And so the remedy or the solution, let's say that it's a daughter or a friend. We do not feel that there is an exaggerated thing happening here with your daughter yet, but let's exaggerate it just for the sake of this analogy. Let's say that she has really come to a place of strong addiction where it has become necessary for her, or she believes that it is, to obtain certain drugs, and the only way to do it is through illegal efforts such as stealing or prostitution or some dramatic thing, and it is in all that upheaval that you are feeling great discomfort. Then you are not well connected or well receiving of source energy. The deprivation of source energy shows up in lots of different ways, and one of the predominant ways that it shows up is in negative emotion, but if it is allowed to continue by the individual, then it becomes what you would call illness or sickness. And when you see someone who is ill or sick, your society soothes them, or at least wants to. You are comforting in your words of those that you believe are sick as you're wanting to soothe them back into wellness. You conjure images of tender caregivers, physicians or nurses that are medicating and soothing and tending to. And yet, in the situation of drugs, which is often many times more exaggerated soothing that what they are wanting or needing, instead of soothing, there is harassment. Instead of soothing, there is condemnation. Instead of soothing, there is jail time. And so what we're getting at here is that, and of course you don't have to fix society in order to be a powerful influence of your daughter. As we talk here, we can feel that we're almost stirring some of you into a more negative place than you were even when you got here relative to the subject of drugs. And the reason that we're doing it here briefly is because we're wanting to speak in the way that you all can hear it. We want you to begin to really feel it in this vortex that together we are shouting to the boundaries of the universe. It's time to stop condemning others for anything, because there is no healing that ever comes from condemnation. None. None. In fact, the opposite of healing occurs in condemnation. Well, then you say, but what if I have basic ideological differences with someone? Is not my opinion appropriate? And we say, your opinion is absolutely appropriate. Your desire is absolutely appropriate. Your wanting is absolutely appropriate. Your power of attraction is absolutely appropriate. But it is your condemnation that flies in the face of law of attraction as we know it to be, because there is no assertion. So what happens is, as you get all excited about the wrongdoing of someone you love, and all for the very well-meaning reason that you adore her and want her well-being, and you puff up and you condemn through your words or action, dragging her off to some facility or whatever, her action, in that condemnation, the backlash really is yours mostly, because you are using this in a very powerful and certainly understandable way as your excuse to not allow your well-being to flow. And in doing so, your discomfort with her behavior becomes greater, because the more she misbehaves, the more your condemnation seems in order. The more your condemnation seems in order, the worse your life gets. The worse your life gets, the more you condemn. The more you condemn, the more worse your life gets, until the whole thing takes on a life of its own. This war against drugs is far, far bigger than the individual drug user has ever set into motion. In other words, there are so many people that are now using this as their excuse. It is an irony of extreme proportion, because the whole reason for the drug to begin with was to escape from some of that, which now, because of the drug, has become so much bigger and badder. You see. So as we said earlier, it isn't your job to soothe the world relative to this issue, but it is your job to soothe you. And as you soothe you and hold your daughter as your loving object of attention, she will receive the bathing, soothing, loving that the drug has been calling her about. And that is the only way that she will be lured, so to speak, or inspired to the pure connection. When you are in the receiving mode, you are who you really are. And when you are not in the receiving mode, then you're not allowing yourself to receive who you really are. And everyone vacillates from receiving to not receiving. You are in differing degrees of being in the receiving mode, but everyone has the potential of being in the receiving mode, in which case they are loving, in which case they are lovable, in which case they are clear-minded, and everyone has the probability of not being in the receiving mode. And what you are seeing here is just some exaggerated experiences. Those who use drugs are, and of course it's never appropriate to throw everyone in a basket like that, but for the most part it is an interesting thing, because both ends of that scale are exaggerated in the use of drugs. Their connection is stronger than most allow without drugs, and their disconnection is stronger than most would ever experience. And again, it's that ratio that we're talking about. Remember earlier when we were talking about you visiting someone in another country who was living in what you would call poverty, and your discomfort at their lifestyle may be extreme while they're feeling no discomfort in their lifestyle at all, because the difference between what they are wanting and what they are living is not a great expanse. Now you can go there and take your missionaries and convince them of the inappropriateness of their life experience, and you can then bring them to the place of strong discord between their desires and their beliefs. But it is a natural state of being.